Okay, so we're just going to go over a couple of these that you have to do when it's not in slope-intercept form. So how do we tell, first of all? You're going to see that it's y equals. There's nothing else on the other side of the equation except just simply y. So if it's not in that form, we're going to convert it to that form. And remember, the name of that form is slope-intercept form. So we want y equals. So for number 11, like they're not always going to be in that form. So you can see 11 is not by itself on the left side of the equal sign. So we want to get y by itself. So you're just treating the 7x like a number. So what we're going to do here is we're going to subtract 7x from both sides of the equal sign. I'll put a little divider there. That helps sometimes. All right, so then on the left side, when I subtract 7x, I get 0, so those go away. And the negative 5y remains. All right, don't forget that negative sign goes with it. And then on the right side, I have 20 minus 7x. I can't subtract those because they're not like terms, so I just write it as 20 minus 7x. The next step for getting y by itself, again, I'll box it. We want that by itself. It's y times negative 5. So I want to undo that times negative 5. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. You have two terms on the right side, so you've got to divide both of them by the negative 5. Don't forget to do that. So we've got 20 divided by negative 5. Right, so we get negative 4 there. And then negative 7 divided by negative 5. 5 doesn't go into 7, so we're just going to leave it as the fraction, 7 over 5. It's positive because I have a negative divided by a negative. The reason we don't care about changing that to a decimal is because it's, remember, that's slope. And that's what we're looking for anyway here. We're looking for the slope. The slope is the number that's the coefficient of x, or the number in front of x. So the slope for this line is 7/5. And that's kind of part of what we have to do here, because it said find the slope of the line parallel to each given line. So this line here has a slope of 7/5. So then the line that's parallel to it also has a slope of 7/5. Number 12 is more of the same. We're going to move on. Now they want to do it for perpendicular. Find the slope of a line perpendicular to each given line. So once again, you first have to find the slope of this line. So I'm going to make up a different one to do here. So you can try these two on your own. All right, so if we wanted to find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to this line, first I need the slope of this line. And I can only find the slope right now. The only way we know how is to put it into slope-intercept form, which is to solve for y. So I'm going to start by subtracting 3x off of both sides of the equal sign. So on the left side, when I subtract my 3x, I have 3x minus 3x, that equals 0, so the 2y carries down. And then 10 minus 3x, I cannot subtract those because they're not like terms. So I'm just going to write it as 10 minus 3x. I still need to get y by itself. So it looks like it's y times 2, so I'm going to divide by 2. Remember, on the right side there, you divide everything by 2. So then over on this side, I get y equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. 3 divided by 2 doesn't go in evenly, so I'm just going to leave it as the fraction. Remember, a negative divided by a positive is a negative, so there's the slope of my line. Right, that is the slope of this given line, and then they want the slope of the perpendicular line. That's what the question. So I'd say the slope, m means slope, and this is a little perpendicular symbol. The slope of the perpendicular line would be the opposite reciprocal of negative 3/2. All right, the last thing we have to look at, I'll do number 15 with you, is write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. So we want a line parallel to this line. So I find the slope of this line. It's already solved for y, so the slope happens to be negative 3/4. So the line that I want to write has a slope of negative 3/4 because it's parallel to this line. But I don't quite know the y-intercept. The y-intercept is any point that has 0 for x. You notice this doesn't have 0 for x. It has a 4. So there's going to be another way we can find the y-intercept. So we know that the form is y equals mx plus b. We already have the m, so this is to find the b. This is what you do. We plug in the m is negative 3/4. And we also have this point right here is an x, and a y coordinate, so I could plug those in temporarily. So for y, I'm going to plug in -1. For slope, we know it's -3/4, and for x, I'm going to plug in 4. I got that information from here. All right, and then plus b. So the only thing I don't know is b. So we're going to solve this for b. So -1 equals, I got to multiply this first. So I'm going to do, this is like over 1. I'm going to do the 4 divided by the 4. That gives me 1 and 1. And then -3 times 1 is -3. And then 1 times 1 on the bottom is 1. Now to solve for b, I can add 4 to both sides. So I add 3 to both sides. So on the right side, I'm left with just b. Let me write it like this. I'm left with just b on the right side, and then I have -1 plus 3, so that's going to give us 2. So now that's to find the b. So now I know that b is 2 and slope is -3/4, and we want to write a parallel line. So we're going to say y equals -3/4 x plus 2. I just want to go over one last thing before I end the video. You're going to be doing slope times an x value, things like 3/2 times 6, let's say. The way you should look at this is it's 2 operations separately. You've got division and you've got multiplication. So you can do it in any order you like. You could do 3 divided by 2 first and then multiply by the 6. Or you could do the 3 times the 6 first and then divide by the 2. Or you could do the 6 divided by the 2 first and then multiply by 3. That last option I think is the best one because it makes the numbers smaller. If it divides evenly, you should do that division first. So I would take the 2 and it divides into 6 and gives me a 3. And then I can multiply the 3 times the 3, so then I would get 9. Here's another example. -2/5 times 20. Here again, if the 5 divides into the 20, I say you do that first. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 24 times, then I can multiply the 4 times the -2. You're going to come across this, whoops, that would just be -8. You're going to come across this again and again when you multiply the slope times the number, like I did right here, to come up with -3. All right, so that'll come up often, so that's the best way to handle that.